Okay, I will walk you over SAP Assignment 8 now. This is again on Visual Composer and we have to submit 3 screenshots as shown in page 24 and 25. So this assignment is on creating wizard. Okay, so what I will do is I will take the existing bank details model and then I will save it as wizard and then I will start. So I'm already here. So no, sorry, I'm not here. I have to open. Okay, so let me see. Let me get into Visual Composer and I get into Visual Composer by using 006. That's my ID and I use my own ID. You use your own. Do not use LU006. And once I am in it, I will be opening the bank details model. Okay, and then I will save the model as bank S5350. Then 006 is my login. Then I will call it bank details and then wizard. Okay, and I say OK. So now you see, close this bank details model and we have to work on bank detail wizard model. Okay, so we start from here. So then what we have to do is we have to drag a wizard and drop it in our workspace. So I will drag and I will then drop it and click on the add step button to add 2 more steps. Okay, so I drop a wizard and then within the wizard I see I have added 3 steps. Okay, so let's see if I can do that. So I bring and I added step 1. Then let me just take this step 1, then I add another step and then I add another step. Okay, 3 steps. The first step is called enter country, then select bank and then address. So first step is called enter country, then it's called select bank and then this is called address. Okay, so I believe enter country form comes within enter country wizard, bank list comes within select bank and bank address comes within address. Okay, is that so? Let me check. So I really did these. Okay, then I have to create transition between enter country out and select bank and I have to call it submit. Okay, so I will how to do that. See this here, transition from here it goes to the flashing orange dot here and I call it submit. The next one, I have to create a transition from the select bank and then drag it to enter country. Okay, select bank step and then drag it to enter country. Double click on this new line, change the event name to back. Okay, so let's do this way. I have to go back, so I take this one and I go till it flashes. Okay, and then it calls event 1 and I have to change the name to back. Okay, so submit and back. And then what do I have to do is I have to next step is to create a control which is used to trigger this event. Okay, So I go to layout tab and I go to the layout tab and it brings me here. Okay, so what do I have to do now? I have to click on the compose button, select a button, control and drag it into the form. Okay, so I take a button and I drag it into the form. Okay, so before I do anything, I was here, right? Enter country. So I have to go to select bank and then I click on a button and drag and drop it into the form and it will be called action 1. And then I have to double click on the new button and I have to call it back and click on the 3 periods to configure action for this button and I will add an action called back. Okay, so let's try that. So I go to action, I call it back and then I go to the action button and then I add action, I add back and then I have a wizard 1 and all this and in the layer I enter country and then I close. Okay, so in the layer I add enter country and then I close. Okay, so then I deploy the current model, enter some sample data and click submit. So I will just do US and 15. Okay, so I deploy the model first. So wizard, that's the one I would open. I will do US and then I will do 15. So it shows me this information of the 15 banks from the US. Okay, so at this point I just have to click on the back button to make sure that it goes back to the step 1. So I have to click on the back button to make sure it goes back to step 1. It does. Okay, so after it does it, I just have to go back to the design view. Okay, so I will close this browser. Okay, and I will go back to the design view. So I'm back to the design view. I didn't have to take any screenshots or anything like that. So I have to repeat this process, creating a link and the next button, going from select bank to address, and a link and a back button going from address to select bank. So next and back. Okay, so I will do from here transition I'm creating, right? So I have to get that orange thing here and to the flashing white, flashing orange. So this is my next. And then I have to go again from here to the flashing orange, and this is my back. Is that so? Let me check if it is back, next and back. Okay, so I did that. and then I have to have a next button to select bank layout. Okay, so I come here, I go to layout, and I have to have a next button here, so I bring a button here. Okay, so I call it next, and I have to make sure that it goes to, let's see, click on the, yeah, plus select custom action, and then I have to do next, and I have to make sure the next goes to uh, address. Okay, okay, so this is my model. Submit, back, next, back, and address to enter country, start over. So let's see. So I do next, I closed it, then in back the action was to go back to enter country. Okay, in next the action would be to go back to address. So I'm done till so far. Okay, so I'm done till so far. Now you have to look at 3.8. What is it saying? Using the process described previously, add the action to the back button for the address step which goes to select bank. Okay, so where do I do that? In the back button. So I understand, so I have to go here, and here basically it's telling me to add the action. So event name is back. Okay, so then what I have to do is I have to have a transition from address to enter country. Okay, and this is what I am. Let's increase this. Okay, and so this is basically called so this event is basically called start over. So I will call it start over. Okay, so after this next button on the address tab. So do I have a on the bank list I have back and next, and on the bank details, oh, I have a back and start over on the address. Okay, so I have to come here in the address. So I go back to the layout, and here I have to have a back and a, okay, this is what I have to have a back. Okay, and I have to have a start over. So here the action will be back, and layer would be, my back means it would go to select bank, right? So I close that, and then I have to have a start over. So I bring it here, and then I just change it to start over. Okay, and my action would be custom action start over, and is there any action already there? No. So here it also tells me that adding a next button on the address tab going to call start over. Okay, so basically I'm creating a next button called start over. So I will just create a next, and let's see what happens. Okay, let's just see what happens. So let me deploy. Okay, so I open the bank details wizard, US and 15. Okay, so I do next, it comes to address. Okay, I do back, it goes back to select bank, I'm fine. And I do next, it goes to address. If I do start over, it must come back to enter country, which is not working, and I thought so that it would not work. So let's see how we can fix the okay, let me come to the layout view and make sure that everything is working. So here I am fine. In the select bank, I click on back, okay, and the action is back, and layer is enter country. Okay, then in the next, the action is next, and there is no layer or anything. However, here be careful, go to the design view and make sure that in your enter country the default transition is to select bank. In the select bank, the default transition should be to address. This is the place which was giving us the trouble. The default transition should be to address. In the address, the default transition is to select bank. Okay, Now I go to the layout view again, and I make sure that I have the select bank, and in the next, it's next, when in the address, in the back I should have the action button to my select bank. Okay, select bank. Okay, and then start over is next. There may be some issues with the start over button, but let me just deploy it one more time and make sure I'm getting it correctly. Okay, so I go to the details wizard. So I have here US, and then I have 15, and I submit. So it takes me to the bank city. So I go to back, it takes me to enter country, and then I go to next, it should take me to address. It is taking me to address, but I have to make sure that by back I go to select bank, which I am going to select bank. So let me go to address again, and then I want to see start over is taking me to enter country. Start over is not taking me to enter country. So this is the mistake I'm making, but I'll fix it. Okay, it is working now. Let's make sure about the following things. Okay, now here when I say back, okay, I have event name as back, and in the action button, okay, let's not talk about the action button right now. Let's just make sure that the event name is submit. Here the event name is next, here the event name is back, and here the event name is start over. Okay, start over. Now I have to check the default layer for all those three steps. Okay, so for enter country, the default transition is to select bank. Okay, now from select bank, the default transition is to the next one, address. From address, the default transition is to select bank. Please make sure that the default transition for address is not enter country and to select bank. Okay, all of those things taken care of. Now I believe that I have to check the action button. So I go to the layout view, come to enter country. Okay, enter country, and then submit. Submit is the action is submit. For select button, check back, click on the action, and make sure in the action button the layer that is selected is enter country. Okay, it makes sure. Now in the next button, the action is next and there is no layer selected, it's just next. Close it. Now come to address. In the back button, make sure that the action is back. Okay, and the layer is enter country. Action is back and the layer is enter country. In the start over button, make sure the action is start over and there is no layer or anything else. That's it. If all of these are correct, you are going to have a correct deployment. So now you deploy it. Go to the wizard again. So I just put in US and I put in 15. I submit. It takes me to the next visa, the next step. So I go back, it takes me back. I go to next, it takes me to address. I go back, it should take me to select bank. It is taking me to select bank, and then I start over, it should take me to enter country. It is taking me to enter country. So I'm done. So you have to give me this screenshot, then the next screenshot, and then the third screenshot. Once you give me these three screenshots, you should be done, but it has to pull the data. Okay, so we still have to fix something. It isn't pulling the data. Okay, it wasn't pulling the data because I was typing US in smaller case. Okay, it has to be in caps. So if you try that in cap, it is coming up. Okay, and then you can get the address, you can get the select bank, so everything is working. So please put in the country name in cap, either US or DE, and then you can, I can just start, even I can try DE and I can see that it's working. Okay, so next is working, back is working, and then again next is working, start over is working, everything else is working. So you need the 3 screenshots showing each of those 3 steps and you are done.